Hey, bienvenue tout le monde au premier, pas le dernier, le jumeau show. Je ne suis pas dans mon studio aujourd'hui, je suis dans mon studio maison parce que la connexion Internet était vraiment merdique au bureau. Trop de monde de connecté, fait que j'ai amené mon green screen derrière de moi en vitesse à la maison. Et puis donc, je me suis installé ici. Fait qu'à l'avenir, vous allez nous voir dans nos studios. Mais voilà, super content de vous voir, super content que vous soyez là. On parle de plein d'affaires aujourd'hui. David, merci d'être là aussi, puis qu'on participe ensemble à ça, parce que je pense que les gens me parlaient d'immobilier, puis aiment ça nous parler de différents sujets. Content d'être là, Dave?
Je suis vraiment content d'être là. Écoute, ça va être, je pense que ça va être super intéressant de pouvoir parler de différents sujets, puis d'échanger là-dessus. Puis dans les faits, on veut vraiment que ce soit interactif, que les gens puissent participer, que les gens puissent nous appeler ou nous envoyer des textos pour qu'on puisse discuter de choses et d'autres. Puis vraiment rendre ça le fun pour tout le monde, puis instructif premièrement, puis divertissant aussi, évidemment. Là.
Good. Hey, le Jonathan est dans le waiting room. Jonathan, c'est le gars qui est sur le billboard derrière nous autres, qui a fait tellement parler de lui dans la région de Montréal, même partout au Canada, pour ce billboard-là. Il est allé à la télévision en parler. Fait qu'il a accepté d'être notre premier invité, puis on est pas mal content de l'avoir. Mais avant, on va passer à l'actualité immobilière. Qu'est-ce qui se passe en immobilier? Les gens veulent savoir un petit peu comment ça se passe ces temps-ci, comment ça va l'immobilier, c'est la question qu'on a le plus souvent. Mais qu'est-ce qui fait la manchette aussi? Quand on regarde qu'est-ce qui fait la manchette, je vais vous partager mon écran, vous allez pouvoir voir un peu ce qui se passe au niveau de la manchette immobilière, ce qu'on a. Marché immobilier, grande vigueur, octobre, dans l'actualité, en fait. Mais ça, c'est vraiment, il parle du marché immobilier de la région de Sherbrooke. Je parlais avec un évaluateur en charge d'évaluation foncière de la région de Sherbrooke, puis c'est ce qu'il disait. Il dit que le marché est complètement fou. On parle d'augmentation des transactions d'environ 50 %, puis je l'avais dit même dans mon analyse de marché de la semaine passée. Fait que ça, c'est vraiment un fait saillant, c'est qu'on le voit, nous autres, dans le quotidien. Là, les ventes immobilières vont très bien à Montréal, mais beaucoup de gens s'en vont également en région. Je pense que beaucoup de monde pense qu'à un moment donné, le télétravail va être là pour très, très longtemps. Je ne sais pas comment ça va se passer pour les gens dans le futur, mais bref, il semble avoir espoir que ça reste comme ça. Donc, ils font le choix d'aller acheter des maisons un petit peu moins chères, avec une qualité de vie peut-être un peu différente de celle de Montréal. Fait que c'est ce qu'on voit présentement. Ce qui a fait couler beaucoup d'encre récemment, c'est évidemment la star québécoise d'immobilier en eau trouble, Jocelyn Grégoire, des mordus de l'immobilier. Je ne connais pas personnellement Jocelyn Grégoire, fait, je ne peux pas vraiment commenter sur la personne. Bon, c'est sûr que, vu de l'extérieur, moi, je pense que les mordus de l'immobilier ont monté une belle communauté parce que beaucoup de monde sont là pour échanger et se donner des trucs. Fait que c'est super cool. Je pense que la poursuite est relative justement à certains investissements immobiliers, mais beaucoup à propos également de ce qui est, je vais vous montrer le lien à l'écran également ici. Je vais vous montrer ça 2 petites secondes. Ce qui est Crackboom, là, c'était la fameuse application. Attends, ici, là, là, voilà. Crackboom Media, qui était en fait une application des iPads à peu près là, que le monde mettait dans différents endroits. Ils m'ont appelé, moi, à l'époque, pour investir là-dedans. Puis j'ai compris assez vite que c'était peut-être pas une bonne idée d'investir là-dedans parce que c'est juste un iPad version améliorée dans des magasins. Mais il semble que ça fait partie du modèle d'affaires, peut-être qui est en cause des problèmes à M. Grégoire. Bref, moi, je souhaite bonne chance à tout le monde là-dedans. J'espère que si ça peut se régler de la bonne manière pour tout le monde, bonne affaire. Je ne souhaite pas de mal à personne, ni à M. Grégoire, ni au monde autour de lui, mais bref. David, qu'est-ce que tu en penses?
Ben écoute, c'est ça, on est tout le temps embêtant. Lorsqu'il y a une nouvelle qui sort comme ça, on est souvent très réactif à passer nos commentaires. Moi, je regardais ça avec du recul cette semaine. J'ai dit, on n'a pas le fond de l'histoire de tout ça. Je pense qu'il a fait beaucoup de bonnes choses pour la communauté, justement, des mordus d'immobilier, Jocelyn. Maintenant, ce sera à voir comment ça va se régler tout ça. Puis comme tu dis, j'espère que ce sera pour le mieux, que tout ça se réglera puis qu'il pourra continuer ses activités par la suite, évidemment, si c'est décidé ainsi pour la suite des choses. Là.
Fait que c'est un peu ce qui fait partie de l'actualité présentement, ces petites choses-là, puis on verra comment ça se passe dans les prochains mois. C'est sûr que présentement, le marché immobilier, je le dis à tout le monde, si on parle rapidement du marché immobilier, je m'attends à ce que d'ici à 3 à 6 mois, de plus en plus, ça s'en vienne vers un marché d'acheteurs à Montréal. Les gens, c'est des commentaires par rapport à ça, mettez-les dans les commentaires, mais je le vois présentement. Avant le COVID, il y avait des propriétés, ce qu'on avait des 25-26 offres d'achat. Présentement, c'est des 2-3 offres d'achat. Fait que la stratégie de prix, là, c'est super important. Fait qu'avant le COVID, on pouvait s'essayer, tu mettais une propriété à vendre, puis tu disais, ben, écoute, il va y avoir un preneur, le monde achète n'importe quoi ces temps-ci. c'est pas tout à fait la réalité présentement. Il faut vraiment être précis dans notre évaluation pour que ça fonctionne efficacement.
Faut être vraiment prudent actuellement. Là. On a souvent cette conversation-là. Comme tu dis, Maxime, là, dans les derniers 12-24 mois, on inscrivait des propriétés de façon assez aléatoire parce que le marché était trop fort. Il poussait tout le temps les prix à la hausse. Actuellement, il faut vraiment être très prudent comment on fait les choses, d'inscrire à la juste valeur marchande. Je le dis à tous mes vendeurs actuellement, il y a peut-être le tiers des acheteurs qu'il y avait avant la période post-COVID, la première période qu'on a vécue. Puis il y a beaucoup de nervosité dans les transactions. Évidemment, pour tous les courtiers qui nous écoutent, là, le sujet du jour, c'est les certificats de localisation. On est incapable de commander des certificats de localisation. Les livraisons se font en 2021 actuellement. Ça met beaucoup de pression sur les vendeurs, beaucoup de stress. Ça amène certains pépins dans les transactions. Les délais de financement sont hyper longs. C'est compliqué. Fait qu'on se retrouve vraiment dans des transactions beaucoup plus complexes qu'on les avait avant. Puis, je pense qu'actuellement, on est vraiment dans un marché en pivotement qui va nous amener vers un marché à l'équilibre, puis peut-être qu'il va tendre vraiment plus à l'acheteur après les fêtes. Là.
Puis avant qu'on va emmener Jonathan avec nous autres en ligne, ça ne sera pas long. Puis on parlait justement d'anxiété chez les gens ces temps-ci. Le niveau d'anxiété en général de la population est assez élevé. Dans le contexte actuel, il est comme triplé. Dans le contexte d'une transaction immobilière, il faut vraiment faire une bonne gestion de nos dossiers pour s'assurer que ça se passe bien parce que les clients deviennent nerveux puis c'est un peu normal. Là. Fait notre travail, c'est vraiment de bien coordonner les transactions immobilières. Puis, bon, je te preuve du contraire, ça va très, très bien dans le business. Puis, j'imagine la plupart des courtiers également. Il faut juste être bien entouré pour bien servir les clients à ce moment-ci puis aussi gérer les craintes.
Puis je pense dans les faits, là, dans les transactions, actuellement, la clé du succès, c'est que si tu as un vraiment... Mathieu, la B commande justement, les condos ont vraiment diminué dans le sud-ouest. Ça, c'est vrai, Mathieu. Écoute, c'est incroyable actuellement, on le voit, puis je le dis à tout le monde, dans le marché du condo, Mathieu, là, on le voit, il y a un pivotement qui se fait, c'est beaucoup plus tendu qu'avant, moins de pression, moins d'acheteurs. Ça dépend vraiment dans quel segment de marché, là, mais je vous dirais que tu as tout à fait raison, Mathieu. Là, on l'a observé. Écoute, juste dans Griffintown actuellement, je pense je me souviens plus de l'inventaire. La dernière fois que j'ai regardé, là, on est tout près de 400 condos en inventaire. Ça fait longtemps qu'on n'a pas vu tant d'inventaire que ça. Donc, c'est vraiment du jamais vu pour l'instant.
Puis ce qui marque réellement dans le marché actuellement, quand on voit ce qui sort sur le marché, souvent les courtiers, on a des alertes qu'on voit les nouveautés, mais les baisses de prix sont plus importantes. Donc, il y a plus de baisses de prix présentement que de nouveautés inscrites sur le marché, ce qu'on ne voyait jamais disons, si on parle avant confinement, puis les 6 mois auparavant, les baisses de prix, c'était très, très, très rare. On n'en voyait pas. Ça commence à être vraiment plus important, cet élément-là. Fait que, on va reparler la semaine prochaine d'immobilier encore une fois. On va vous voir tous les vendredis anyways, mais là, on est vraiment excités d'avoir Jonathan Ehrlich avec nous. Je vais l'amener avec nous autres en scène parce qu'il est pas mal cool, ce gars-là, puis on est vraiment intéressés de l'entendre parce qu'il a tellement fait parler dans les dernières semaines. Puis les gens en parlé en bien et en mal, mais ce qu'on veut, c'est vraiment le mettre le spotlight sur Jonathan parce qu'il a eu bien du guts de faire ce qu'il a fait. Jonathan!
Hey!
Hey, Jonathan, we'll do that in English because obviously you're more fluent in English, and I think it's your spotlight to actually explain your whole backstory of your billboard, who you are, what you do, because you do have some wicked things to tell us, right? You work night. It's actually Felix from my team said this guy was at night before. You know those guys on horses? Well, that's what he did. So I didn't know that. So quickly, put up to speed on who you are and what you do, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, thank you first of all for inviting me on the show. That was a very, very nice invitation to get, and I'm very happy to be able to come out and kind of talk about this a little bit more. I think there was so much talk about it, but it took a little while for people to actually reach out and want to talk to me about it. So thank you so much for that. Also, thanks for allowing me to do this too.
I'm a fan of everyone who takes risk in life, So it's I was a big fan from the get-go when I saw your billboard.
Yeah, it was definitely a huge risk, but yeah, no. So for myself, as you know, I was a knight. I spent about 4 years working with medieval times as a professional knight, day in, day out, sword fighting, horseback riding, jousting, the whole nine. So very, very interesting stuff. And I think that like my theatrical background is what really helped kind of bring me over to sales. So in coming over to real estate, it was actually my best friend and partner, Logan Boyce, who was working with his
Hey, is
parents.
it the son of Boyce? Boyce, the white guy was famous cowboy.
No, that's Boyd.
Okay, Boyd, correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So Boyce, it was James Boyce. So James has been a real estate broker in the West Island since 1989.
Yeah.
And then Logan joined him in 2009.
Oh, okay.
And then in 2014, I came back from Toronto because I was living in Toronto for a little while. Came back to Montreal, and we started building out Montreal's elite real estate group. So that's kind of the backstory from jumping from that type of work into this whole thing now. So yeah, that's kind of just a little bit of the background for me. And then one of the things that we're always doing, and I'm sure you guys are doing this too, is we're constantly learning. And we started building out our team because, you know, we started seeing the pivot for real estate into more team-oriented stuff. And we realized there was a lot more we could offer to clients if we started working on building out a bigger team with more resources to be able to offer. So with that now, a lot of our focus is really on helping brokers produce, helping them get into higher levels of production, and helping kind of take away some of the load of the work that real estate brokers have, because I can't imagine being a solo broker today with everything that we have to do. It's I don't know how people could do that.
It's funny that you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned that because you know, the ad staff, when we take them on board with us, you know, they always surprise the amount of work that we have to do. You know, some people outside of the business think that it's an easy business and we just sign up and that's it. But it's so it's really demanding, the amount of work that we have to go through for only a listing to bring it to the notary. It's time consuming, and it's something.
Yeah, and that's if you want to survive it, right? If you want to do it at like a higher level and keep upping the game,
right?
So much that goes into it. So
and it gets complicated because, you know, I was talking to a client yesterday, and there's few options when it comes to a competitive market and teams and stuff like this. It's either you know, you lower your cost, the price that people pay to get your services, and it's not an option that we're doing. We're offering better service with the team for better result as well. You know, so I think at the end of the day, we're more and more real estate agents are more and more coherent, and I think there's a better need now than ever for agents in the market because transactions are more and more complicated.
I think that's beautiful what you were just talking about, because so often we want to add value by devaluing ourselves and devaluing our service, but we should really be focused on doing the opposite.
Correct.
If people have a problem with the cost of a real estate broker, well, then that's a problem with the service that we're offering, and that's telling us that we need to focus on upping the service that we're offering, not lowering the cost of what it is that we're offering, because then it's a steep slope that we're going to fall down before we're not offering anything to the clients at that point.
Right. And that's what we aim for, Julian. I wish every agent to aim for a service that actually an investment into their client. What I tell my client, if I sell their houses for 104, 5 or 6% of the asking price, we won the game. You know, we actually made them gain money, and the commission was totally paid in our effort to get the maximum money for them and the best service. So I think it's something possible, and I think that's what we do every day, and I feel pretty happy about that, you know.
Well, I mean, we see it too. As you do more and more transactions, you start seeing how much money you're able to save for your clients or make for your clients. And that's when, you know, you go from, you know, feeling okay about your service to really understanding and feeling confident about the service that you're offering. I had a client who was told by one real estate broker that her home was worth $400,000. And I looked at it and I said, I understand why they said it's worth $400,000. But from the information that I have, I actually think that it's worth $460,000. And we put it up and we sold it at $465,000. That was $65,000 more for my client.
Yeah.
And then we were in multiple offers on the other side. And in my discussions with the listing broker on her buy side, I was talking with that broker, and I said a couple of things that made me understand where we were at. And I came back to my client and she said, let's give them another $11,000. I don't want to lose the house. And I said, trust me, stay where you are. Don't put the extra $11,000. You're fine. And sure enough, we didn't put the $11,000 and we got it. So in total, her savings was $71,000. if you look at it all. So I mean, sorry, $76,000. So if you look at it all, it's like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, David.
Everything we're talking about right now is mostly related to transaction and to the way that we do business, like brokers together, that we collaborate into a transaction to make it happen. And it's funny because we're gonna get into that later on. But when you post your sign up and then it create a like fire on social network, you saw a lot of broker coming at you like crazy people and telling a bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, everyone, our colleague, trying to collaborate and make it happen for the client. So that's one of the main concerns that I had when I sat out on Facebook. I say, you can't treat like your fellow worker like that. You do your stuff. Everyone do their stuff. They are their marketing that they like to do. They have the way they like to do stuff. But that's one of the points. When we do a transaction, we are two people dealing together, and we are supposed as a community to come together to bring your service up and make sure that the community understand the value of the services. But from what I saw there, it was really. I was really concerned about what I saw online last week about that, and it's we're going to discuss that later. But it's at the end of the day, we are two brokers doing a transaction together, trying to make it happen for the clients under the best condition possible for the buyer and for the seller.
Yeah. Well, thank you for talking about that, because I actually wasn't even a part of any of the Facebook groups where they were circulating. So I couldn't even talk about it to anybody. And what was interesting was that people didn't want to come and talk to me about it. They just wanted to immediately go over my head to talk to other people about it. So I was very thankful whenever somebody actually did reach out to me about it, if they had something negative to say, because for the most part, I was really only getting positive comments. Everyone was telling me how much they loved it, how amazing it was, how brilliant it was. So yeah, to get the people talking about it without actually talking to me about it was a little bit of a, like you were saying, I was a little bit interested in how we as a group of professionals were responding and reacting at that time, especially considering the public's response was so positive.
Yeah, one thing that's very interesting, we're going to talk about the whole backstory of the billboard itself. I just want to share with people, because you told me something last night that you were invited on a TV show because of that billboard, which you would have never been able to get on that TV show if that was not from that that billboard. So I'm just going to show with the people on the screen to see that moment, because it's really cool. Let's look at it for a moment.
Tu sais, Julie, les agences d'immeubles font des publicités des fois, pas toujours réussies. C'est un peu plate des fois, mais cette semaine, il y a un agent d'immeuble qui a fait parler de lui en faisant une grosse affiche sur une grosse pancarte près d'un boulevard. Il s'appelle Jonathan Elric. Et ça a fait jaser, on regarde ça.
So, without further ado, take a look. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Hein? Il aurait pu faire ça, c'est sexy quand même, il aurait pu faire ça aussi dans le popcorn, comme François Lambert. Oui. Et là, tu te demandes sûrement pourquoi quelqu'un déciderait de faire ça, mais on va lui demander parce qu'il est avec nous.
Voyons donc! Je reste là, tu es à 2 mètres, tout est mesuré, il y a un petit... Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour. Jonathan Ehrlich.
Ehrlich, monsieur Ehrlich. Juste pour assurer Dan, là, levez-vous, je veux juste montrer à Dan qui est assis sur un petit...
oui, c'est correct. Je veux savoir si on changeait de place.
Non, on ne change pas de place. Tu es bien à 2 mètres, c'est tout mesuré.
Excellent. Salut.
Monsieur Ehrlich,
oui.
Comment ça vous est venu, cette idée-là, d'enlever le haut?
Ouf! C'est vraiment unique, mais ça vient d'un film qui s'appelle I Love You Man, avec Paul Rudd et Jason Segel. Et dans le film, Paul Rudd, il est un courtier immobilier et son ami décidé de faire une campagne des panneaux d'annonce pour lui. Et un des panneaux qu'il fait, c'est celui-là. Ça, c'est l'idée pour ça. Et quand j'ai parlé avec mon équipe, je travaille avec une grande équipe des courtiers immobiliers. On a 14 courtiers dans notre équipe. On s'appelle Montreal's Elite Real Estate Group. Et on était avec de manière EXP Agence
Puis là,
immobilière.
ils vous ont dit de faire ça, là. Puis vous l'avez fait.
Ouais, non, ouais, exactement. On a pensé que c'est fou et on peut pas faire ça. Mais enfin, on a dit c'est la meilleure chose qu'on peut faire parce que c'est très drôle.
Est-ce que vous connaissez Marie-Chantal Toupin?
Ouais.
J'avais envie de louer son poster avec ma camisole après. Ah, ça me tentait.
Mais là, c'est une bonne question parce qu'après avoir enlevé le haut, allez-vous enlever le bas pour vendre plus de condos?
Un bon vendeur doit se dévouer. Là.
Je fais tout ce que je dois faire pour aider mes clients.
Ah, donc, il y a de l'espoir. Il y a de l'espoir. Donc, il enlève le...
Yep. That was
Sais-tu, Jonathan, you know, when people just see the billboard and then they see you speak, you know, you're a smart guy, and it's, you know, it's changed a bit the you know, the thinking about all of this, you know, and it's funny because when I saw the post first, you know, in a nanosecond, I was like, what is that, you know? And then I saw the video that you did, and I thought it was great, you know.
I think that was really the difference maker between doing something really outside of the box, was being able to put something out that kind of describes and shows the thought process behind it. And I think the incredible thing is to kind of see it all come to fruition after that too, because it was exactly like I was saying. The goal of the billboard was never really meant to convert. It was really to get the name out there, get Montreal's Elite out there, get Jonathan Ehrlich out there, get EXP Agence Immobilier out there too, because EXP just came to Quebec this year. So we kind of needed to make some waves. So I think all of that has been a huge, huge success, obviously, with that TV spot being part of it.
Hey, tell me one thing. Did anybody try to stop you in your track when you came up with that idea and said, well, either your parents, your significant other said, Jonathan, no, man, you cannot be on a billboard by DIY, or did someone in your broker said you cannot do that? Because David, you know, told you earlier, a lot of people judge you for that, but you know, sometimes it's people in the inside who try to stop you to do something before you do it. So how did this happen?
I think it's a big statement of the people that I surround myself with, because everybody was like, dude, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's brilliant. And then I was the one who was like, guys, I don't know. Like, maybe I should do something a little bit more normal. Maybe this is too much. I don't know. And everyone was like, I'm not going to be your friend if you don't do this. Okay. So yeah, there were, I mean, there were some people who were like, I don't know, I'm not as sure about that. Are you sure you want to do this? But for the most part, the core group of people that we were making decisions about, all of the advertising choices and stuff like that, everyone was super, super supportive about it. And that was kind of the push that I needed. Even the billboard company, when I was speaking with them about it, they were saying that this is brilliant because the stunt advertising will draw the attention right away. So they were the ones who really pushed forward as well.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm just going to come back on that because that's where most of the action took place. You know, I don't. Were you aware of the comments that were put on Facebook, or there's a group of? Yeah, you were aware of this, right?
I mean, I didn't see all of the comments.
Yeah.
I saw, obviously, there was some backlash that we were getting, and I was surprised actually to hear how far-reaching it was. We actually met with some of the directors of EXP Canada,
yeah,
and they were saying that it was literally all the way in BC, that yeah, all the way across Canada, and they were getting it from other brokerages. It wasn't even EXP that was sharing it; it was other brokerages sending it to them to be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. I think it would be, I think, interesting, David, if it's a good time for actually to respond to some of the comments we had. And I've seen everything. I've seen body shaming, you know, which would never take place for a woman, but I've seen body shaming for you. And I think you did not cross the line, but some people obviously cross the line on whatever comment they think that they were allowed to do about this. And there's the thing about social media. It's easy to make a comment and just to go hide, you know, in your real life after that. But for me, if you make a statement or say something, you have to be able to back it and actually make sense with it. But a lot of it didn't make sense at all.
Well, and I think with something like this, somebody once asked, like somebody was asking me as I was preparing for a couple of different interviews, and they said, well, what advice would you give to somebody if they were thinking about doing something that was outside of the box and that they were taking a big risk? And what I've learned from all of this is, you know, you have to be okay with yourself You have to really be okay with who you are and understand that. And I do a lot of work on myself for that. I meditate. I'm constantly reading books on how to work on personal development techniques to become a better person. So I didn't realize how good I was with myself until these people showed me how okay I am with myself. By them saying some of the things that I was able to look at, and I was able to say, that's okay that they have that opinion of me. And it's their right to have that opinion. So, but at the same time, it's not positivity that they're trying to spread, and that's on them to work on that for themselves. And if they don't want to, that's okay as well.
And I think you just gave the best response to that. You know, I mean, it's good that you stepped out of this and you didn't get into these arguments and comments, because it's well, it doesn't do any good for you, and it shows your strength, you know, to be able to receive that, and, you know, not to respond, you know, or react to this, you know. So cheers to you, man, because it's you know, I was looking at that and I felt really bad, and I thought, you know, I said, this guy probably doesn't sleep, you know, with all of these comments, stuff like that. I mean, you know, you're questioning yourself, you know, are you calling the ad media and said, take it off tonight? So.
Well, Grant Cardone says, you've got to get haters. You've just, if you don't have haters, then you're not playing at a big enough level, right? So as this hate started to flow in, it was kind of like I was a Sith Lord, just like, let the hate flow through you. It really gave me energy and got me excited about what was going on. And I think, you know, you can frame anything anyway. Somebody can give you $20 and you can be pissed that somebody didn't give you $40, right? But at the end of the day, it's just how you look at everything. And in this situation, and in most situations, I try my hardest to look at things in a positive way that's going to make something come of it so that I can actually use that energy better.
Did anyone, I'm curious to know, did anyone related to those posts called you directly and said, okay, listen, John, you know, we need to speak about this, you know?
So most people didn't. Most people didn't talk to me about it. I had a post on the YouTube video that I had posted.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Some people were taking this directly to Supreme Court.
Oh my God. That's it. But I only had one person, actually, surprisingly, out of everybody who had problems with this, I only had one person who emailed me. And I thanked him for emailing me because, you know, he actually had the courage to reach out to me directly. So I thanked him for that. And his response was, I've told the OACIQ about this. I've made a complaint, and I hope that they revoke your license. And he's like, I've been a real estate broker for 34 years. I've never seen anything like this. So I hope they revoke your license. And I said, you know, honestly, thank you so much for reaching out to me directly. I value your opinion. So I appreciate that. But it's not against any advertising regulations or guidelines for Quebec. So I'm not really sure how this merits revoking my license. But if you could tell me, I'd be happy to, you know, to look further into that. And the response.
So just to answer the question, no one from like 400 comments, no one called you up like to discuss that, right?
No one actually physically called me. No.
Yeah. So basically everyone hiding behind the computer and doing their posts and stuff like that. And then they're not calling you to, all right. And that's one of the things, you know, with the internet right now, people posting anything they want, and, you know, they leave it to that, and they don't have the courage to call you up and say, listen, you know, maybe I would like to discuss that. And so I'm always fascinated by that, you know.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a statement of, you know, where we focus, and I think this was a distraction, and it was meant to distract, but it wasn't meant to distract that group of people. It was targeted towards drivers on the highway who would get distracted and crash. Not kidding. But it was really targeted towards the public so that they could get, you know, to see my name and our banner and our logos more. But what happened with the real estate community after that. And actually, to talk about people who did call me, I did get a lot of calls from real estate brokers that I really respect. And I got a lot of messages from direct messages from real estate brokers that I really respect, who were telling me, listen, you know, forget about what the haters are saying. Don't listen to them. We really appreciate what you're doing. You did something different. You took a huge risk, took a lot of guts to do that. So just like you guys did, right? Like you reached out to me directly to tell me how much you appreciated it and how much you wanted to talk about it. There were a lot of, and I noticed as well the quality and caliber of the broker who reached out to me to say that they appreciated it. These were some brokers who really produce at higher levels. So I was very, very happy to receive their support.
I'm curious, did any client call you? They said, listen, I saw your billboard, man. I want you to come and meet me to actually list my house.
So I had clients taking pictures of it and sending it to me, saying you're a complete savage. We love you. I had so many clients sharing it. You know, people who wouldn't normally share my stuff, they started sharing it left, right, and center. So that was really nice. I had one person call me who's pre-approved for $850,000 who wants to buy something. So I'm working with that person. And then I had another person who called me who is very, very nice, very kind, but a little scary. She was a little bit, I think the billboard might have affected her in a different way.
Well, that's a side effect of marketing sometimes, right?
That's it. So
yeah. And would you, in a split second, would you do it again?
I have no regrets, honestly. Good. No regrets at all. Yeah, the only thing now is trying to figure out, you know, where to go from here and how to use this momentum.
Yeah,
I've been very fortunate that kind of the ball has been carried forward by all of the response from everybody else, which is great. But now it's how to use this the most effective way.
Anyhow, to close this off, because maybe we can talk about EXP a bit after that. But John, I'm very impressed with what you did. You're the type of person you are. You know, you went. I think you step out of your. I think you're more like a reserve guy. I think, and you stepped out of this to go, like, on the billboard and doing that crazy stuff. And it takes a lot of strength, courage, and I think it pays for you. So it's and you know what, we need more people like you in the business for sure.
Thank you.
And we need a bit less hater in the business that, you know, would, eat you off because of that. So good for you, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that's very true. The contrast in how I typically carry myself to what this billboard is. Quite a big jump, but it is kind of the way that I do like to work with my clients too. I think real estate is a very stressful transaction. And to be able to feel so comfortable and so confident inside of the transaction for your clients that you can bring some levity to it and relieve some of the stress, I think that's amazing, and that's incredible that we have that power and that ability to do that. So this was able to do that for some people, and hopefully it can help our industry shift to helping alleviate stress for clients a little bit more, because people are very stressed right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Moving on to EXP, shout out to Larry White. Larry White was our coach with Tom Ferry organization for a while, David and I. He keeps calling me. He said, you guys need to come on board with EXP. And, well, it is what it is. Now we're talking to you. So talk to us about EXP. What's the deal?
That's it. Well, you guys got to come on over to EXP. I'll get in touch with Lana.
You'll get in trouble with Royal LePage with this.
But no, honestly, EXP, we had heard about it coming for a while. We were with another real estate brokerage before that, and we were building our team out. And for us, when we started to look around to see what options were available to us, we were blown away at some of the options that we were given and that were presented to us. But when we looked at the EXP model, it was just for us, it made no sense to go anywhere else. And it also made no sense for us to open up our own shop, just because the way EXP is structured for larger teams it's incredible. So it's enabled us the ability to take away, because we qualify for mega team status. I'm not sure if you're familiar with how EXP works.
Not at all.
Okay. So basically, they have a cap structure where you pay fees to EXP, but then you get different levels of like broker status with EXP, and they give you shares. You also have a share agreement that you can buy into, and you can buy stocks in the company. And the company's opening up worldwide right now, so it's a really good time to be getting involved with the company. The stocks have just been going through the roof. So it's really about, you know, not just working on helping real estate brokers produce and grow as real estate brokers, but helping set them up for a retirement in the future. Because as you know, we don't get the same retirement options that regular employees would get, right? Yeah. So yeah, from a team perspective, because we did qualify for mega team status, we were able to take away some of the fees that our real estate brokers have, which helps us with recruiting for real estate brokers onto our team. And then it also helps us have some extra capital available for different marketing strategies, like billboards, for instance. I don't think I would have had as much excess capital available to be able to take a chance on a billboard like this if it weren't for the fee structure that we have in place. And then as well, EXP will pay you as well. So as you bring real estate brokers in and they produce, then you will get money back as well. So it's not like some of the other companies as well, where it's a profit share agreement, where if the company's profitable, then you make money. It's a revenue share based thing. So it's really based off of did that money come in gross, not net. And that's the difference between where we were before, where we had a profit share agreement and we weren't, we ended up not actually making any money back from being a part of that system.
A lot of things that I see, and I'll be the devil advocate here about, you know, Keller Williams came in. It was not meant for the French-speaking, you know, clients. EXP coming from the States, and I was discussing actually with Larry this whole thing with EXP. That's mainly the problem with those, you know, franchise coming in from the States. They're not ready for the French-speaking, you know, market that we have in Montreal. It's okay for the West Island; people will get it, and it's easy. It's, you know, plug and play. You're ready to go. But for us, you know, it's a different story.
Yeah, I think people are pretty set in their ways, and it's hard to kind of change their opinions a little bit and change the way that we do things. And Quebec, I find, is one of those places where we are really far behind. And I'm sure you guys, I mean, obviously, you're working with people outside of Quebec and learning about the real estate markets in different areas and what works in those areas. But we're behind the 8 ball on a lot of things, and we don't have access to a lot of the tools that they have. And a lot of it has to do with fear because of companies like Zillow and Red Door and all of these other companies. But at the same time, I mean, it does hinder some of the possible things that we'd be able to offer to our clients. So I think having these companies come in that are a little bit more forward thinking and trying to shake up the game a little bit, like, you know, Keller Williams before and now EXP, I think that's gonna eventually start to shift here too. It's inevitable. And for the people who are on board with these companies, they're going to be ahead of the game at that point.
Yeah, I think EXP was opening up in Mexico this week, right? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, they're opening all over. It's been since we've joined, they've expanded so massively. It's incredible. Yeah. Good
for them. And cheers to the people of EXP who are watching this right now. Last thing we need to talk about, you know, before the broadcast, we talked about anxiety and the consumer, the way it goes in the market right now. What are your thoughts on handling transaction these days with coronavirus, people being anxious, lost a job, lost some money? How do you view it?
Well, we spoke a little bit about it before the broadcast. It's been so interesting. I feel like right now, you know, last year we would do a transaction and there was just a smoothness and an ease to the transactions some of the time. You know, there's always stuff that goes on, but the emotions, you were able to manage them a little bit more. Right now, I find every single transaction, there's just a lot of stress that's looming over because of the uncertainty in what's going on. And I think with sellers, especially saying, you know, okay, well, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? And buyers,
that's one of the things we hear the most. Where am I going to go? That's one of the things we hear the most. Where we're going to go next.
That's it. So there's nothing available for the buyers. So and as a seller, they're thinking, okay, well, I'll be on the buy side too. So what do I do? So it makes it a little bit tricky, a little bit difficult. So with that, I think it's just that stress that's being added to the transactions right now. And I work with a lot of the newer brokers who have just kind of started getting into the industry and getting going, and helping them deal with that as well, helping, kind of teach them about calming tonalities and giving them the confidence to be able to deal with these types of, emotional situations, and getting them to understand that, the client, sometimes they might need to just yell at you. They're not mad at you and yelling at you. They just are frustrated and stressed, and it's okay. Take that in stride, work with it, and then, they're going to calm down, and you'll be able to actually work through stuff with them. So yeah, it's just kind of made things a little bit more stressful. And I'm hoping that next year we kind of are a little bit more used to this, and we can work a little bit more comfortably inside of it. But what has your experience been for that so far?
Yeah, people are really stressed out for various reasons. Anxiety level has been at the all-time high. And I just signed a contract on a big penthouse. A psychiatrist is actually the client. And, he told me, population in general is stressed, is anxious. And he gave me some numbers, relating to antidepressant and stuff like this that people are taking. So it's really, really high. People are stressed out, and this whole situation with COVID and being isolated from social life exacerbated the whole thing, So I think it's our job to be. I always, tell my team that we're not into the business of selling houses. We're in the business of people. We're in the business of handling people and transaction. And that's, if you do this properly, you will have massive success. If you think you're just about selling homes, you will fail greatly at this, because that's not what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying there about depression, there's something to say about that too. One of our clients is an STM operator for like emergency operations, and he was saying right now that the suicide rate is up drastically, and we're not showing numbers, and we're not talking about this. So there's something to be said about that. We've been confined, we've been isolated, so it makes it very, very difficult for people psychologically right now. So we're dealing with a lot of that as well. It's a very, very interesting time. But on the flip side, to alleviate some stress, I was just a part of a UFC course the other day, and they were talking about the future of real estate, and they were saying, well, listen, let's just say the market takes a complete dump next year and it drops 20%, right? Let's say sales drop 20% in Quebec. Well, that brings our numbers down to the number of sales that we had in 2018. And in 2018, we had a record year. So even if the market completely falls apart, we're still going to be okay. I mean, 2018, we weren't, living in boxes. We were okay. So it kind of.
I think the only thing that's going to change at the end of the day will be, the delay it's going to take to sell. There's always going to be a buyer out there, and strategy will be more and more important. But I mean, it is what it is. We've been in business for close to 20 years. I've seen every type of market, and for me, it's been a smooth ride. I've never seen market like the States I've seen a couple of years ago, like in Arizona and stuff, places like this where it was total slump. But now I think we have a good market in Quebec, and I don't think market is going anywhere. Maybe it's going to be, things are gonna start to be a more level, to what they were before. But I don't see any major problem in the horizon.
And I mean, if the market levels out, I actually think that's not such a bad thing, because the shift that we had in the market just this year, that wasn't fun. Having to go through, the summer, the way that we went through the summer, where it's like you were saying, there are so many multiple offers. You're always in competition with other people. And, you know, at a certain point when you're looking at 12 offers, your strategy has to completely shift in order to be able to get that property and to justify that purchase. And then the justification all of a sudden becomes, okay, well, we know the value's here, but we're paying emotional money up to here. And if we lose it, then at least we know we put the most amount of money for you. But we're saying, you know, we're using that kind of dialogue on pretty much every property for these buyers right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was great talking to you, Jonathan. It brings you to the end of our broadcast. I think, you know, I really want to thank people who are actually live with us, you know, commenting, liking what we do. I mean, for me, I'm not, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a person who likes to be out there that much. I'm out there because people need to see you, but I shy away from the spotlight anytime I can, because I'm not typically a social person. I'm really introverted, type A behavior who needs to be, you know, achieving stuff. So I don't like those things, but I like sharing with people like you. And I think if people can actually get something out of it and have a different perspective of who you are, because I've seen it from the get-go, this guy has something different, and more power to you, man. I think it's going to bring you far in the future.
Thank you very much for that. I think we have to step out of our comfort zones in order to grow. So even what you're saying right now, that's incredible to me that you guys took on this big of a project to do that. If you know, if that's something that sits inside of you that says, I'm not the person who likes to be out there in front of people, to put yourself there. I was actually saying that going on that French talk show, like my level of French to go on live TV, I was backstage like freaking out. But I kept saying to myself, I have to do this. I don't have a choice. So my life has brought me here. I got to do it. You guys have brought yourselves here, and you're doing this. And I think this is great to get to know the people that we work with inside of our market center, and to get to learn more about real estate. I'm going to be tuning in and checking this out the more you guys do this. So thank you so much for the opportunity of bringing me on, letting me talk about myself and getting to know each other. I really, really appreciate that. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks to you, and I hope we'll connect in person.
It's very good.
Oh,
and I hope we'll get to, David, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. And you can rest at ease at night. I think we are among a good producer in Quebec, and I think we really value what you did. And I think it's you have to look, maybe step out sometime and just look at what was the purpose of this. And you did very good. Yeah, and thumbs up. It's impressive.
Thank you, Jonathan. Me and David are going to stay online for a few minutes to actually thank people and get some comments. Thanks to you for coming in, and we'll talk to you soon, man. I hope we'll catch up in person whenever this whole thing is over with the COVID.
I hope so. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, John. Bye-bye.
Thanks, John. Bye.
Bye.
Bon, ben merci tout le monde. Écoutez, là, on est rendu au segment. Là, s'il y a des gens qui ont des lubies de nous parler, David, peuvent texter le numéro de téléphone à David. Je veux parler, on peut les amener en ligne avec nous autres pour parler d'immobilier. Si on a des questions, ça nous fait plaisir. Si vous avez des commentaires, c'est le temps aussi. C'est des gens que vous aimeriez voir être invités dans les prochaines semaines. Nous autres, on invite tout le monde au show. On est pour échanger, pour parler, pour apprendre à connaître des gens, pour partager avec vous. Fait que c'est vraiment à ça qu'à cette tribune-là, pour donner la parole à d'autres personnes que nous, mais qu'on parle d'immobilier parce que ça nous passionne.
Hey, je suis tellement impressionné par John, honnêtement. Un gars calme, un gars posé, un gars qui s'exprime bien, un gars qui a énormément de qualité puis qui a exprimé son point de vue par rapport à ça. Puis honnêtement, ça me fascine qu'il y ait eu autant de méchanceté par rapport aux gestes qu'il a posés. Quand tu parles à cette personne-là, tu disais qu'il ne méritait vraiment pas ça, mais en même temps, il y a eu le bénéfice quand même de profiter de certaines choses, de réussir à aller à la TV avec ça et tout ça. Fait que écoute, c'est le genre de courtier que tu vois, tu discutes avec, il va aller loin, John. Il fait... écoute, je suis impressionné par le type de personne qu'il est, définitivement.
Puis on est intéressé d'entendre vos commentaires. Vous avez des commentaires à faire à ce niveau-là, au niveau du billboard que John a fait. Allez-y, on va les mettre à l'écran également. Les gens vont voir ce que vous avez à dire par rapport à ça. Ça nous tente de vous entendre également là-dessus. C'est une tribune pour vous. Fait qu'on va rester quelques minutes en ligne pour voir si les gens ont des commentaires par rapport à ça. Il y en avait sur le marché immobilier. Tantôt, on parlait qu'ici, c'était... on dit qu'il y a certains redressements sur les condos dans le sud-ouest, pas encore pour les maisons du sud-ouest de Montréal. Mais effectivement, les maisons Il n'y a pas un gros redressement, je pense, à y avoir parce que, je le disais à tout le monde, les duplex, les maisons unifamiliales, Montréal vont toujours rester avec une bonne cote. Là-dessus, on ne s'inquiète pas. Je pense que c'est certains condos que ça va être demandé un petit peu plus un défi, je pense, parce qu'il y en a beaucoup quand même. Griffintown, présentement, en souffre à cause du condo locatif qui est à la mode. Fait que ça, on le voit. Puis ça, c'est le reste du commentaire. Les prix vont baisser. Période de stagnation. Ben oui, c'est un peu ce qu'on disait tantôt. Ça va tranquillement y avoir un atterrissage en douceur pour 2021, je pense, pour le marché.
C'est sûr qu'on voit-tu au niveau de. Ben moi, évidemment, je travaille plus dans le sud-ouest de Montréal. Puis dans les unifamiliales, ça a été vraiment tant mieux pour les vendeurs, ça a été super. Pour les acheteurs, ça a été la galère depuis des mois. Il n'y a pas beaucoup d'inventaire. C'est dur de mettre la main sur un produit de qualité à un prix raisonnable. J'ai comme l'impression que ce balancier-là va être plus long à revenir parce qu'il n'y a toujours pas beaucoup d'inventaire, mais comme tu le mentionnes, dans les condos, il va y avoir un shift qui va se faire. Il est déjà en transition actuellement. Mais ce sera à voir pour la suite des choses. Tant qu'on réussit à amener des attentes raisonnables aux vendeurs, puis ultimement, idéalement, les dépasser, c'est parfait, mais actuellement, il faut être vraiment plus posé puis pondéré dans les façons d'évaluer les propriétés, puis de laisser le marché s'exprimer par la suite. Là.
Exactement. Alors, écoutez, ça va être, je pense, un peu de commentaires, nécessairement de questions pour le broadcast d'aujourd'hui, pour le live. Merci énormément d'avoir été là, très apprécié. On va se voir la semaine prochaine, s'il vous plaît. S'il y a des gens que vous voulez voir être invités aux Jumeaux Show, ça me fait plaisir de les recevoir. Mettez-les un commentaire encore une fois. Et puis, on va se revoir la semaine prochaine. Alors, David, un petit mot de la fin.
Bon week-end tout le monde. Les courtiers, travaillez pas trop fort. Puis on vous revoit prochainement pour un deuxième show. Merci à ceux qui ont écouté. Vois-tu, Armel qui nous... Armel, un autre champion. Hey, on est content de t'avoir avec nous autres.
Merci pour tes commentaires. Petit thumbs up à toi. Alors, écoutez, on était sur notre fin. Donc, merci beaucoup. On se parle bientôt. Et n'hésitez pas encore une fois à nous proposer des gens que vous aimeriez se faire inviter à notre show. Ça me fait plaisir de les recevoir. Passez un excellent week-end. Moi, je peux aller... encore, Marc-Antoine Jean, je peux pas... Là, il faut quand même que je les montre, ceux-là. Bon, mais super. Ça, cette maison-là, écoute, cette transaction-là, Marc-Antoine, merci encore de ta confiance. A été rock'n'roll, cette transaction-là, David. Hein? On a fait un champion, celle-là.
Ça a été... écoute, tu sais, c'est rock'n'roll, mais en même temps, quand les acheteurs sont bien préparés et sont prêts à prendre des risques calculés, ça donne des belles transactions. Cette transaction-là était faite en collaboration avec Jesse McKay, qui était courtier inscripteur sur cette maison-là. Puis Marc-Antoine, sa conjointe, ont pris des bons risques pour remporter la mise. Puis actuellement, ils sont bien contents de la maison. Il reste une rue extraordinaire, la rue Bétier à Verdun. Puis bravo pour... Ils ont
acheté le bon temps aussi.
Oui, exactement. Ouais.
Puis Alex Cordonnier, il faut absolument que je te salue aussi. Écoute, Alex, un courtier français qui était avant chez KW, tu pourras me dire, tu es rendu où maintenant, Alex, qui a eu la chance de venir à mes bureaux. Je suis allé voir en France également. Super sympathique. Fait que, écoute, Alex, j'espère qu'on se voit bientôt. Encore une fois, quand tout ça va être fini, on prend l'avion et on se promet de se voir, s'il te plaît. Alors, c'est ça. Ben écoutez, encore une fois, merci mille fois pour tout. Merci d'avoir été là. J'espère que vous appréciez. Puis nous autres, on est juste là pour partager du contenu avec vous. Puis on n'est pas, je l'ai dit tantôt, on n'est pas du monde qui sont naturellement attirés vers ça, vers aller parler, aller expliquer certaines choses. On le fait parce que je pense que c'est important que l'immobilier ait une voix, je pense, positive par rapport à ce qui se passe. Comme on parlait de Jonathan tantôt, il y a beaucoup de groupes immobiliers qui existent, là, puis que c'est avec les prétentions de vouloir s'entraider, mais c'est beaucoup d'affaires négatives aussi. Fait qu'on est là juste pour parler du positif, partager puis améliorer les choses. Donc, merci d'avoir été là et passer un super vendredi, super week-end. Moi, je vais fêter la fête de ma plus grande fille qui va avoir 11 ans, Lola. Fait que n'hésitez pas à lui souhaiter une bonne fête dans les commentaires. Elle va être bien, bien contente. All right. Bonne journée. Bon vendredi. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.